This episode of the podcast is brought to you by patreon.com/lightscameranonsense. Visit patreon.com/lightscameranonsense to help support your favorite new movie podcast. Now, let's roll that reel.
Hi, I'm Nick from the podcast, and you are watching the edited down version of our Twitch stream over at twitch.tv/goodgooseinc, where you can watch the podcast being recorded live. Follow us over there so you can watch us live, or just watch us here at YouTube. Either way, follow us, like us, and we'll keep you entertained, I guess. We'll keep it fun. We'll keep it light. We'll have fun. Captain Ahab.
Yeah, that was weird. Apparently, if you plug in this aux into the like little control doohickey USB,
Yeah.
it will just cancel out your entire right side of your headphone.
Oh. That's kind of a big design flaw.
Yeah, a little bit, huh?
I guess so.
Granted, I got these.
Well, those are gaming headphones, right? So.
Yeah, but I also got them in like 2014. Right?
Oh my god. That's problematic.
Problematic. He's a problem.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lights, Camera, Nonsense, where we give you all the latest movie magic you may have missed. I'm Nick, ground control to Major Tom Simmons.
And I'm Zach. I have completely blanked on a middle name, Smith.
Oh, God. Oh, we're off to a great start, as usual.
Tell you where my headspace is at. I'm Zach. Probably drank like 40 beers in the middle of the ring last night, Smith.
Oh my god. Well, that's just as problematic. That's somehow worse than the no middle name. Zach, we're all here because you have a problem.
I do.
Listen.
Yeah.
This is an intervention.
Well, here's the thing, too. I did have a lot of beers, but one, only about a third of each of those made it into my actual mouth. And two, I took like 3 suplexes when my doctors told me never to do it ever again.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. You know, going against your doctor's advice when it comes to performing fake arena sports, I don't have it. There's no precedent for that. Although there is, you know, there's
actually there's way more than you would think. There's way more than you would hope, actually.
And on Sunday, April 3rd, 2022, let's dive into the previews. If you're watching us live, you're watching us on Twitch at twitch.tv/goodgooseinc. That's where you can find us live. Follow us there. Say hello in the chat. We are watching it, or I am watching it. And
yeah, I can't see you guys.
That's okay.
So you can talk shit about me and I won't know.
So make sure to talk shit about Zach in the chat.
Yeah.
And if you're not watching us live, you're watching us on YouTube, or you're listening to us in our audio format on Spotify, iTunes, Last.fm, anywhere you listen to your, or did I say Spotify? I said Spotify.
You did say Spotify.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people, from what I've gathered in our statistics, follow us on. What?
Begathered?
I'm trying to get all the information out there, Zach. All right, you already cost us so much time getting us.
My fault.
It's both of our faults. To be fair, we were going to record yesterday, and we ended up recording today because for reasons that we will maybe get into. We'll see. But life, you know. And also, if you wanted to represent your favorite new movie podcast, you can head on over to store.lightscameranonsense.com. Represent us out there in the real world and show off cool new merch. Zach, we have new merch design for our anniversary, which is next week.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to you. Happy pre-anniversary to you. I'm looking in 2 different windows. Zach, it's our 3rd anniversary. We've been doing this for 3 years. And so I think it's only it's really, it should be commemorated with a fancy new shirt. And so
Sure.
in on the YouTube version of our video here, I'll slap up the image. Actually, no, I got it right here. Hold on.
You know, statistically, year 3 is where it all starts to go downhill.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong. This is important.
obviously.
Don't mock me.
I
Don't
wasn't
mock
mocking.
them. You're mocking the sanctity of the podcast.
Well, I told you it's we have our own problems to work
So
through.
we got,
On
store.lightscameranonsense.com. It's Good Goose Inc. That's where all of our stuff is. I don't believe I featured. I did not feature the shirt. Oh, that's great. What we got right here?
amateur hour over here.
It's not amateur hour. You're amateur hour. There we
I
got
am
it.
amateur hour.
We got it over here. We'll blow it up over here. It's so tiny. It's a tiny.
As if 1,000 voices cried out at once.
So we got it commemorates the third year 3. It's got our cool little Lights Camera Nonsense logo. It's got the smiley face on there. We got the words Lights Camera Nonsense on the sleeves, Zach.
Oh yeah, sleeves are great.
Yeah. Where are we? There we go. Wow, off to a really crazy rocky start. This is great.
Rollicking good start.
So if you'd like to, you can purchase that shirt over at store.lightscameranonsense.com. I will put the link down in the description for this video, both in audio and video format. Zach, enough about all of this housekeeping, how do you do's. Let's go ahead and just dive into what we've been talking about, because we have a lot to talk about. I watched a lot. You may have not. Statistically speaking, you do not.
I have holdovers from the last episode in which we were supposed to talk about stuff, and then it ended up turning into an Oscar cast.
Well,
which is probably the most interesting thing that came out of this year's Oscars. I mean, we won't touch on it any more than that.
We could get into what happened during the Oscars. We talked about it during our stream right before the actual show, that we were probably not going to watch it. And I ended up not watching it, not only because I was having some trouble finding a good service in which to watch it, but also because it was pretty late and I go to work like significantly earlier in the morning than most people do. And so I turned in and I woke up, to go to the bathroom, and I saw that my phone had blown up with a lot of alerts for certain things because I was like, all right, send me notifications or alerts about the Oscars. And, just in case, like somebody fumbles something or messes up. It happens every year. There's always one thing that gets messed up every year. And sure enough, yeah, that big thing happened. And I don't really want to get into it because I feel like it's been talked to death.
It's been talked to death, and there's nothing that we could provide anyway that would be of any use to anyone. So, yeah. So if I just to say, if you know what happened, which I don't know how you don't know, but there you go.
Yeah.
And we'll just move on from there.
All right. Sounds good to me. So let's just go ahead and jump into it, Zach. What have you watched in the last 2 weeks for you?
Yeah, so I kind of touched on it a little bit, but I touched on it a little bit last episode. I was finally able to sit down and watch Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes, it's No Way Home.
All these stupid home names.
It's 3. It's just the 3.
There's too many homes. The housing crisis is out of control.
Sherlock, Enola, get all the homes out there,
Yes. So yeah, I had not been able to see it in theaters, just based off my personal choices with the ongoing pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So it finally got dropped on rental services. It's not streaming anywhere as of yet.
Well, it's on Stars.
Is it on Stars though?
Yep. Well, they have
sure it's just renting at the moment.
Well, it's supposed to be. Well, Stars doesn't have a streaming platform, right? But
they do have a streaming platform, but I don't think it's on there yet. I think like the first 3 weeks or so are just buy or rent, or it's not even rent. Actually, now I think about it, it's just buy. Because I had to buy it. I had to buy the movie because there's no way to rent it. So it's a good thing I ended up liking it. Oh, there we go. Wait. Yeah. So I was finally able to watch the third Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. And yeah, that was a fun movie. I quite enjoyed it.
So we don't have to get too much into it because I think everyone and their mother has seen it at this point. But were there any surprises that got spoiled for you for the movie
Oh
that
yeah,
kind of got.
everything got spoiled.
Did it
Literally
did it
everything.
lessen the impact? I mean, after it got like dropped into streaming and like the week leading up into it, people were just like, "All right, it's been out for months. If you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it," kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I actually did a really good job of avoiding spoilers for like months. Like I had just managed to not, and I was pretty online as well. Like I was avoiding stories about it and such, but you know, I was
Right.
still on Twitter and shit, and news sites. But I just got lucky for some reason, and then all of a sudden, just 1 week, like 2 months ago, or so it happened. And it was just a deluge of like, here's this, here's that.
Yeah.
This person shows up, that person shows up. And a lot of it was already kind of like you knew, like especially us, because we did so many news stories on it
Hmm.
back when we did the news docket. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm so surprised that they got these people to come back, and a lot of them are actually in the trailer too.
Yeah.
Um, so no, I wasn't really surprised by anything, and a lot of stuff is also like slightly comic. Uh, what's the word?
I have no idea.
Like it's not based, I guess, based on the comics, but it's like slightly
Influenced
twisted.
by.
Influence. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Um, so yeah, like those story beats aren't like, oh my gosh, but you know, my wife.
My wife.
Um, you
Always
know, she's
Italian.
less familiar with it, so there was more exciting stuff, or like surprising stuff for her as we were watching it. But all that to say, it wasn't any less enjoyable just because I knew kind
Right.
of the general beat of it.
Right.
Um, yeah, yeah, just a fun ride. Really liked all the nods, big and small, to the previous films.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself. So
Yes, they have that. Like, there's at one point they call out the fact that Jamie Foxx looks nothing like he did in
yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man 2, and yeah, and then if you are like fans of uh, those Amazing Spider-Man movies, they have like actual character, like not I guess growth, but like they close off some character
Arcs.
lines, arcs in there. Like you see, yeah, I don't know how much you want. It's I don't.
You can absolutely spoil it because you were the last person on earth to watch this movie.
You know, like Andrew Garfield's Spider Man is in there along with Tobey Maguire.
Yes.
Uh, so you have like his character kind of still grieving over the loss of Gwen Stacy. And
Hmm.
so there's that little bit at the end in the final where he's able to rescue Zendaya's MJ, and it's kind of like a, oh, I did it right this time sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was like, that's what's kind of like amazing about this
Ah.
movie. And,
Sorry. Go ahead.
in that it even takes like stuff that is not good, and like I'm not saying I'm gonna go back and watch the Amazing Spider-Man movies at any time soon, but they take the pieces that came from those movies and are able to utilize them in ways that actually really work and I think are enjoyable, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, and no surprise, you know, that's basically this whole trilogy's MO is just like spitting in the face of Sony half the time, even though they
Oh
own
boy.
the shit.
Oh boy. We'll get
Yeah, yeah,
into
we'll
it.
get to that. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Just yeah. So
But yeah, just to wrap it up, there's not much else to go into. It's not like a deep movie or anything. But I am very happy to have finally seen it. It was a very enjoyable movie. Um, I kind of mentioned there's some weird CG stuff early on in the film,
yeah, that was
but
kind of a thing.
by the end, it's either A, grown on you, or B, gotten better. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, just a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to Multiverse of Madness, which it pretty much leads directly into, more
Yes
or
and no.
less.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yeah, it's Doctor Strange 2 is definitely going to be a nexus point for the MCU at large. Um, Spider-Man No Way Home kind of being a, I wouldn't say like a like a practice round, but I would definitely say like a preamble leading into it. Definitely sets the bar high, not
Yeah.
only for MCU movies but for comic book movie crossovers and ties to older films, you know, and appreciation for those films. I definitely think that people are setting their expectations at No Way Home levels, and when they should be like, all right, but like bring it down a little bit. Sam Raimi already has comic book movie experience, obviously with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy, and he's a fantastic director, and I'm really looking forward to it just based on that alone. But I definitely think that the hype is a little bit too high at this point, especially with and
Doctor Strange.
for Doctor Strange. But I think with yes, I mean just watching how people are reacting to every single thing that is being mentioned or shown in Moon Knight, and I'm like, guys, have we still not learned this lesson when it came to like WandaVision, Loki,
You're
Falcon and
saying
Winter
that
Soldier?
like people are theorizing too much.
I think you can theorize as much as you want, but I think your expectations should still be in the oh wow, okay, well that was cool, that was surprising, that was fun. Um, but yeah, Spider-Man
Yeah.
definitely like ruined that for quite a while. So
Well, and I think honestly, WandaVision is really what did it. And off the back of Endgame.
Endgame, yeah.
Uh,
You're cutting out.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Let's go back to doing this again. Um, I can't fault people too much for like, oh, theory this, theory that. And because they kind of did it to themselves the same way that like Game of Thrones basically made any death unsurprising after a certain point.
Right.
Just because you're driving your audience to expect certain things. It's the same reason why people get pissy about stay until the end of the Batman and they don't like the end credit sequence or some shit.
I mean, in
You know?
retrospect, like looking back on it, like from today, are you kidding me? Because that was excellent. Yeah, it's a website. Yeah, it's the devil inside all over again. But this was actually like it was uh post story, but it's more information and more background on the movie and teases into the future of that franchise. So it kind of did everything and nothing at the same time.
Yeah, people don't want that. Marvel has conditioned people to be like, if you're gonna have an end credits, one, you need to have an end credit sequence,
If you're a comic
and
book movie, yeah.
two, it has to be something that makes half of your audience go, "Oh, holy shit," and the other half, well, really, it's like 25% go, "Oh, holy shit," and actually mean it because they get what someone's talking about,
Well,
and then the another 25% still going, "Oh, holy shit," but pretending that they know what they're talking about, and then the rest of the 50% of the audience going like, "What does that mean?" And then they go on a Wikipedia
so
dive.
that's gonna be how it is for no matter like if there were no post credit scenes all the way up until Spider-Man No Way Home, and then the it's basically just a trailer. It's the teaser trailer for Doctor Strange 2. That was the end credit scene for
Yeah,
Spider-Man No
yeah.
Way Home. Like that's kind
They
of
did have a mid-credit sequence, did they not? I'm trying to remember.
not that I'm aware of. Oh, the Venom like being
Yes, yeah,
sucked back in.
The Tom Hardy one. Yeah,
Yeah, just kidding. Tom Hardy's going back to his Venom Sony movie, but we're gonna leave a tease for a different Venom in the MCU kind of thing. Uh, that's literally on par with what we will talk about with Morbius, which I will fully spoil.
So yeah, get ready for that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'll drop here because at this point it's just being a dead horse. But I will move into a different Marvel property in that I watched the first episode of Moon Knight.
I did as well. What did you
So
think?
what did you think? No, I asked you first.
No, I asked you first. So I enjoyed it. I definitely think that it is a very rough, like you probably could have polished off quite a bit of the CGI in this episode. I definitely feel like
really didn't notice that much.
ooh, yeah, rewatch that car chase scene when he's trying to escape them in the cupcake van. It is bad. It is like 2005 bad. Like
You know,
when
I
it
will
comes to CGI.
say,
What?
maybe even tangentially related to the CG is Moon Knight is rated TVMA, yes?
Yes.
They do an interesting thing with Moon Knight, and I don't know if it's going to get any better or more clear, and like more on par with the old Netflix Marvel. Like old, that sounds weird to say, but the Netflix Marvel shows, in that it's supposed to be this violent show, but it does kind of a PG-13 sort of violence thing where you can tell it's violent. There is some like moments of like pretty violent things,
Right.
but it like cuts it in a way to where you don't really see anything. So like in that car chase, there's a moment where one of the guys, after Oscar Isaac's Stanley, right?
Nope. Steven.
Si- Steven, yeah, same kind of same energy.
No, I mean, it shows how much of an impression this episode left you. You know,
Um,
I definitely think it was one of the
I
weaker.
really liked the episode. I just watched them on Wednesday though, so my memory of the Wallflower character's name is escaping me.
Fair enough.
But yeah, they he has a little episode. He suffers from dissociative identity disorder.
Yes.
Where at certain points his body will be taken over by Mark,
Spectre.
whoever, Moon Knight.
Well, Mark Spector is different from Moon Knight.
Yeah,
I mean, Mark Spector is he is the personality that is aware of the Moon Knight persona of which he carries.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Go ahead.
so he goes through those kind of occurrences, and at one point in that car chase, he has one, and he like when he comes back to being Steven, he looks down, he has a gun in his hand, looks back, there's a dead guy in the back of the van that he's driving,
Mhm.
who then falls out. And it looks like there's a point where one of the cars that is chasing him is going to run over that body.
Yeah.
And not to say that, because I didn't see a body get run over, that's instantly, a knock on the score or anything.
It feels like it is.
But you can tell it's just interesting how they're doing it, because it like you see the car driving up and it's gonna hit the body,
Yeah.
but it then like pans away to where you just hear it,
Well, I
and
think
so it happens, but
think
it's not like graphic, like ultra violence, kind of like some of that Punisher, Daredevil stuff.
it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be like a Sin City, like 300 type of like ultra violent kind of TVMA. I think it is leading into that type of like mature level. I mean, when it shows him come back as Steven and he's holding the scarab and he's covered in blood because he just killed all of those zealots. I think that was kind of a tease into like, oh, this other character that or this other personality that he's changing into is super violent and is willing to kill people in order to protect himself. But this first episode is all from Steven's perspective, and I think a lot of people are hinting at like further episodes showing kind of the other side of it with Mark's perspective. I honestly don't think they should do that. Hopefully the story just progresses from here and then we get to see that.
Crazy if you don't think if you think they're going to do this first episode thing through the whole series, there's absolutely no way.
No. I've heard people like say, I think they should show the same episode but from Mark's perspective and all that kind of stuff. But like no, like just further the story. We get it. A lot of people were hoping that this was going to be kind of an origin story for Moon Knight, but it's really kind of just in the middle of his story. And not only that, but other than literally only one or two references to the bigger MCU, this is fully disconnected from other stories. We're not going to get a tease into Doctor Strange 2 at the end of this. I don't see it happening anyway.
Yeah, well, and so I was going to lead in from that just to say that could be the way that they're doing that like pan away from the ultra violence sort of thing. Could be just the way that they've structured the first episode, where it's almost like a mystery. Oh God, don't die! Please don't die! Not on camera. It's not worth it.
It went down the wrong tube.
If I had a nickel. Uh,
What does that imply?
yeah, you know.
No,
Thing.
I'm asking.
Anyway, yeah. So the way the first episode is structured is just, it's more like a mystery, and it's really enjoyable. At least I thought it was, in terms of how they go about doing that. You're seeing, yeah, Steven's day to day, and there's these moments where he'll like have conversations with people, and they'll kind of reference something that he said
Yeah.
before, and he's like, what are you talking about? And then there's, a point where he comes home and notices that his goldfish Gus has an extra fin
Oh, you
that he
remember the
shouldn't have.
fucking goldfish's name, but not the main character.
Gus is a sweet little cinnamon roll, and we must protect him.
He's a goldfish who will probably die within the week because that's the
No,
lifespan of a goldfish, right? Somewhere around there. Anyway,
I don't think it's that short. Their
goldfish.
memory is short,
Yeah.
which
So
is kind of like the point of the episode. Is kind of like the goldfish dilemma
problem,
or something like
the
that.
goldfish problem. Yeah.
Goldfish problem, yeah.
Um, I'm intrigued. I'm curious, but it was a really rough first episode for me, to be
Oh,
honest.
well, that's a bummer. Uh, Hopefully it gets better for you.
Thanks,
But
Dad.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'll keep my
I
fingers
mean,
crossed
it's
for you.
it's. I will say, I came out of the first episode of Moon Knight in a better mood than I was with Morbius.
Wow, low bar. Well, I
Very
guess
low
last
bar.
thing I'll say on Moon Knight is just the reason I think I kind of liked it, or that I did like it, was because it distinctively did not feel like Marvel, but not in a Eternals sort of way,
Right.
where it was like trying to make you care about a bigger thing, but not really giving you any sort of thing to cling to. Whereas this knows its stakes are lower, or it's at least they outwardly seem lower to your audience.
Right.
So it's not taking itself as seriously, and they can kind of experiment more with that. There's structural things that they do, narrative things that are not something that I would normally expect from what you would think of a traditional Marvel show or movie.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's why I am at least have enjoyed the first episode as much as I did.
Right.
Um,
Well, that's good. Yeah.
but
I'm.
then
Go ahead. Sorry.
we're on two different ends
We
of
are. Eh,
the enjoyability spectrum, I guess.
eh.
And then the last thing I watched, I got around to watching Turning Red,
Finally.
which is the new Pixar movie on Disney Plus.
Did we not get into this? I thought that we had. I thought we had
We did
talked about it.
not, because I had planned to talk about it last episode, and well, we've been over that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Turning Red, if you're unfamiliar, is about Maylin, right? That's her name.
Yes, Malin.
Who's a 13-year-old girl who discovers that her family has this kind of secret history where all the women will eventually take on the blessing / curse of turning into a red panda. And it's all about her kind of struggles with that and determining whether or not she wants to accept it as a blessing or as a curse, along with a lot of relationship stuff in terms of daughters and moms, and just familial issues in general. And I know this has been kind of making the rounds in certain circles as a sort of like um, controversial, I guess, movie. Uh, it's
The
you know
people
th-
who are upset, I don't want to like give any sort of credence to the
which is
people
why
who
I
are
was kind of
upset.
going to just gloss over it,
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
because if anyone who is trying to argue that, they're not doing it in good faith. Personally, I very much enjoyed the movie. It was very funny. I know it's not, these types of movies aren't really up your alley. But how did you feel about it?
No, I really enjoyed it. I personally thought that with the feeling of nostalgia already from that time period, us being that similar age-ish range of the early 2000s, being younger, the music. I
Yeah.
mean, we're
A lot of boy band music.
A lot of boy band
influence.
music. I mean, it
No
was
joke
that.
though.
It was the
The
style. So good.
Four Town song. This a bop. It's a good song.
I mean, not really. But
You know,
boy band music was just like, it's catchy, but I will never like replay it intentionally. But
well, I'm not
I'm a
saying it's
curmudgeon.
like fucking Bob Dylan or anything. I'm just saying it's just
Bob
fun
Dylan is not
song.
catchy. Bob Dylan is not
All
great.
right. I don't know what hell you're wanting to know.
And there
Around
goes
here.
our viewers. No, I personally like connected to it on a different level than I would say the past few Pixar films. I'm obviously not a young Asian woman, but everything else about the aspects of that time period definitely resonated with me, and the obvious underlying message of growing up and having to deal with growing up is I loved every aspect of it. So
It's a
it definitely looked and felt different too from other Disney Pixar movies. So
it's an interesting change in what you would normally expect of a movie where it's like coming of age, your parents don't always know what's best for you sort of movie, and that a lot of the disagreements between Malin and her mother are framed as just like Malin's mom not giving her enough space, and it's not like a evil sort of, or mean sort of controlling, to the point where Malin thinks, she still loves her mom, and so it's a interesting sort of middle ground where it's showing even though good parents can sometimes
have bad
really
intentions.
have bad and not have good intentions, but
sorry.
not do right by their kid.
That's what I meant.
They're transitioning all of their own internal problems with their growth, their history with their parents onto their child, while still loving them as much as they do. And I think that's a really interesting narrative and lesson, I guess, to put forward. And
it was a very wholesome movie.
It was very wholesome.
Even
and
the villains weren't really villains. So.
You're right, right. It follows the Encanto sort of thing where like your villain is not any one specific person.
Family.
It's generational trauma or, expectations of greatness. Or,
it's interesting that they back to back, like 2 movies, it's all about like family trying to like not push their agenda, but like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what has worked for us. This is how you're going to live your life. And it's
you had
similar-ish
Coco
story
as well.
In Coco?
So, Coco.
I thought you said en Coco. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
But oh yeah, and hey, teenagers are cringe as hell. In case you didn't remember, but it's great. I love it.
I mean, every time I open up TikTok, I see it. I see it.
It's a good reminder of what it was like to be a cringe ass teenager without having to actually relive it.
It's good. And animated form too.
Yes, yeah. Fun for the whole family. But that is it for me. Do you want to regale us with what you have suffered?
I watched movies this week,
Zach.
I watched movies this week.
I watched Moon Knight this week.
Okay, that doesn't count. That's 45 minutes of your time.
Well, I didn't watch more movies because I already had other movies to talk about.
Oh my God, get over it. Let's get in the now. It's today. Let's talk about this weekend. Let's talk about April Fool's Day and how Morbius, after 6 delays, finally released on April Fool's Day.
This was supposed to happen.
It was
everything aligned where it was supposed to be.
Yeah, God did not want this movie to come out. He started this plague.
He's trying to save us, dude.
He's trying to save us because it was originally supposed to come out in 2019. No, the beginning of 2020.
2020, yeah.
Before Spider-Man: No Way Home even entered production. Yeah. So that will explain the post-credit scenes that I will get into. For those that are unfamiliar, I mean, let's get into it. It's Jared Leto's Morbius. Biochemist Michael Morbius tries to cure himself of a rare blood disease, but he inadvertently infects himself with a form of vampirism instead. Directed by Daniel Espinoza, who also directed Life in 2017 and Safe House in 2012.
Life, the space movie,
The Alien, but not
not
Alien.
the documentary.
Right. The Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds picture. That was
Life,
apparently like people were hinting it's a
this must be
fucking
Venom.
it's a prequel to Venom. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It was a Alien ripoff, and it was
I
okay
think it
as
was
a
decent.
movie. It was a decent movie,
yeah.
but it was just like I've seen this done better before, decades earlier. So Morbius, if you haven't watched the trailer 500 times every time you go to the movie theater, like I have, we're finally past it. We'll no longer see it in theaters. Cheer. Cheer. Everyone cheer. Hold on. Yay. Yay. We no longer have to see it in theaters. Zach, this is a bad movie.
I feel like that should just be a still. It's just you huddling over and going.
It's so I had very low expectations going into this movie, having watched the trailer. Would you like to be surprised, Zach? 80% of the trailer is not in the movie because it was cut.
Shocking.
Like I won't get into it. The story is all about Michael Morbius. He's like, oh, I have a bad rare blood disease. Like I said, he finds a cure for it by splicing vampire bat DNA with his DNA somehow and making it work. The dialogue leading up to this scene, because it starts off with him cutting open his hand and like in front of some lasers, having some vampire bats fly towards him, and then it cuts away from that scene and never explains that scene to him as a child.
You don't need an explanation.
Well, you kind of do.
No. It's Morbius. Enjoy your Morbius.
Enjoy your Morbius.
Open wide for your Morbius.
So he has a childhood friend who has the same kind of disease as him, who grows up to be Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations on your doctor friend. They grow up. He finds out that, or he gives himself that vampirism powers. He gets bat sonar, otherwise known as echolocation, which I'm glad that they decided to not just make it bat sonar like they did in the trailer, because that infuriated me. I'm like, that's echolocation, and luckily that's I guess 80 yard into the movie.
Someone was in the production team going like, no one's gonna know what echolocation is. That's technobabble.
Or no, he says in the trailer bat radar, and I'm like, that's sonar, that's echolocation. Anyway, he gives himself the vampire powers. He kills a whole bunch of people on the ship that I guess floated him over to Costa Rica or wherever it was. And his lady scientist friend is like, oh my God, what happened to you, Michael Morbius? He's like, I'm a vampire now. Matt Smith is his childhood friend who grows up to be super rich somehow.
Well, he's the 11th Doctor.
He's the 11th Doctor. He's
got that BBC money.
But he's just a rich guy who likes to dance for a whole 5-minute scene. There's a whole like super long scene of Matt Smith just dancing to I Want to Have Sex. Did they not learn
anything from Spider-Man 3?
No. This is worse than Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 is so bad it's good. This is so bad it's bad. And Matt Smith eventually finds out that Michael Morbius has the cure, and so he gives himself the exact same thing. But he's like, I don't care about killing people. I want to drink human blood. And Michael Morbius is like, I'm just going to suck on this blue blood, which is not the TV show on CBS, but like synthetic blood. And that starts to like wear off, and eventually his lady scientist friend gets attacked as like a hostage from Matt Smith. He's like, hey, you want to come on, we're best friends, we could be vampires together, let's rule the world. And Morbius is like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to cure people and help people, but I'm also want to cure myself of this vampirism. I can't believe you became a vampire too. So Matt Smith kills the lady doctor friend, and then they fight, and then Morbius kills the Matt Smith vampire doctor. End of roll credits. But before the credits are done, what?
No, I was gonna say, and then does he Is he now like, I'm gonna be a villain now?
No, well, I mean, he
It's
killed
villain
people.
time.
He killed a whole bunch of people when he first became a vampire, and then he's like, "Oh man,
But
I
he
don't."
said he did it for good reasons, though. That's what
No,
makes
it
an
was because
anti-hero,
he
right?
no. He was never an anti-hero. At one point, he's like, man, I need to find a cure for my vampirism, but I don't have a lab. I can't go back to my lab because the FBI are after me for some fucking reason. Oh wait, because I killed the mercenaries on the boat." And Tyrese Gibson of Fast and Furious fame, of course, is
Yes.
chasing him down, and he arrests him. Morbius breaks out of jail, and then he finds out that some guys who are making counterfeit money have a lab, and so he follows them to their counterfeit lab, breaks one guy's hand, and then scares the rest of them away, not to stop the crime, right?
Sure.
But to use their lab to make their counterfeit processing machine into a centrifuge to like work on his doctor
Well,
work.
that's just ingenuity.
He's not a, no, well, but
Uh-huh.
he's
An
not an
anti-hero.
anti-hero. He's just a douchebag who's being super selfish in trying not to kill people. But in the end, he ends up having to drink the lady doctor's blood just to survive so he can fight off the Matt Smith doctor. Doesn't matter.
Everyone, look forward to the next anti-hero movie of
Craven the
Kraven.
Hunter. Yeah.
Noted famous anti-hero and not villain at all.
Anyway, let's talk about the post-credit scenes. Because that's the only thing that matters. And even then, this will probably ruin post-credit scenes for a while. Probably not for the MCU because it's already lined up for like Doctor Strange 2 and all that, and maybe Moon Knight. So the credits start rolling. Matt Smith Doctor is dead. Morbius is like, I gotta go like still cure myself because I don't want to be a vampire. Roll credits. Getting all tongue tied and frustrated.
Spent money on Morbius. So
I spent
yeah,
money on Morbius. I actually used my free ticket on it, but still, I bought
Where do you
popcorn.
get your money?
Yeah. Drat. So credits start rolling. Turns out there's a huge purple rip in the sky. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
And then it shows Adrian Toomes, played by Michael Keaton from Spider-Man Homecoming, getting Star Trek transported into a jail cell for some reason. Because he was in a jail cell in Spider-Man Homecoming at the end of it. And the one line that he says in this first post-credit scene is, "Man, I hope the food is better in this joint." And then it cuts to more credits and then another mid-credit scene. And it's a news report saying, apparently some random guy that we don't know who this is because Adrian Toomes doesn't exist in this universe, just randomly appeared in a jail cell. So this guy didn't commit a crime. Let's release him. More credits. And then a third mid-credit scene happens, and it's Morbius driving a Porsche, I believe, a very fancy car down the highway at night, and then he pulls off the side of the road and gets out of his car. He's well dressed. He looks like he's perfectly fine and I guess cured himself, but maybe not. Doesn't explain it. And all of a sudden he sees something in the distance, and it's Vulture in his Vulture suit flying up to him and saying, "Hey, I heard a lot of good things about you. I read about you, Doctor. I don't know how I got to this universe. I think it's Spider-Man's fault. And I think there's a lot of guys who we should team up with to stop him." And then that's it.
So Sinister Six again.
Yeah, they're trying Sinister Six again.
Stop trying to make Sinister Six happen. It's
They
never gonna
literally
happen.
pulled a character from an MCU movie just to start this.
So
and no one knows which Spider-Man it is. No one knows. They don't hint at it. They don't even know if there is a Spider-Man. There is a Venom in this universe. It's because Morbius, when breaking the counterfeiter's hand, is like, "I am Venom," and scares him away. But luckily they cut the, "I'm just kidding, I'm Michael Morbius, nice to meet you." They cut that. So Venom exists at the very least. If it's Tom Hardy's Venom, I don't know. It could be a different Venom.
There's a scene where Michael Morbius or Jed Morbius, whoever it is, it says, "I'm Venom," insinuating that Venom is a known quantity in
Right.
the Morbius. Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
Venom exists in some form or fashion. They even reference it earlier when they're like, this incident is just as crazy as what happened in San Francisco, which was the setting of Venom 1 and 2.
Do they say who the rando is in the other universe that Vulture switches places with? Where they're
He
like,
doesn't
we don't
switch
know.
places with anybody. No, he just gets transported from the
Oh,
MCU to this
okay.
one.
I see what you're saying. So when he gets transported, the people in the universe where he's transported to, i.e., the Sony universe,
Yes.
are like, who the fuck is this guy? And
Yeah.
then lets him out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying it like another mid credits sequence was going to the Marvel universe and
No.
saying like, who the fuck is this random guy?
No.
And I'm like, well, who was it?
No. It was a news
thought
segment from the Sony universe saying, we don't know who Adrian Toomes is. Let's let him out.
I thought you were gonna tell me that Sony was being petty as fuck and taking the cool Michael Keaton Vulture into their universe, and then like throwing like the old man like actual bird Vulture into the Marvel universe.
Oh no! Like that would
Which,
actually
honestly, that would actually
that
be
would
really
be cool.
funny.
That would make sense because then there would have been a Vulture in the Sony universe that they just switched, but then people would be more interested once again in the MCU version of Vulture. Then it would cause a fucking gaping like what the hell plot hole in the MCU. It already has. Like all three of those scenes all combined make zero fucking sense. They literally ruined their own universe with the hype of a post-credit scene.
You're telling me that the people who famously shit the bed the last time they tried to do a Spider-Man expanded universe,
yes,
have also shit the bed trying to do a Spider-Man expanded universe.
Yes, because they can't let it go. Someone is desperately screaming for them to stop doing it, and he's on like the board of directors, and it's all these older curmudgeon bullshit guys who are saying, "Shut up, we know what we're doing," and they don't look up reviews online. They just care about how much money it's making. Which, by the way, at a modest $75 million budget for Morbius, it's only racked in around 38-39 million so far.
Yeah,
not good.
About right. I mean, I've seen the pictures going around of people going to see this movie, and the theaters are literally empty.
Yeah,
which is hysterical. Like I've seen that one where it's like the Goku Vegeta one. It's like, let's go fight somewhere empty, and then
Morbius. Exactly. Yeah, my screening, I think it was more empty because it was a Friday mid-afternoon where everyone's kind of still at work / school. I don't know why I did that. I could have easily have waited until the evening, but that was just the circumstance. And I'm glad I did because it was literally just me and like two other people, like drastically spaced out. But still, it was bad. It's a bad movie, and shame on you.
You should have had someone to commiserate with in there. Did you like turn around and you like, can you believe this shit? Can you?
I'm not gonna be that person. I fucking hate those people. We've talked about it at length, and we'll probably talk about it again in the future. But I just want to move past this stupid Sony universe, and hopefully, it will not make enough money for them to justify moving on with this. And I think we should all just agree that Jared Leto is the X factor here. I mean, it's bad directing, it's bad writing for this movie, but he's been in several comic book movies, and he's been bad in all of them, like literally all of them. So
probably shouldn't hire him for your comic book movies.
Probably shouldn't hire him for your comic book movies. Sorry, JL. Probably shouldn't be a cult leader either. He's also a piece of shit in real life. So,
yep.
All right, let's talk about the other two movies that I watched, which just so happen to be related to the moon. Hence, my board here.
You finally got around to watching Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
I watched that back when it came out in 2011.
No, I don't think you did.
I did. I've watched every single Transformers movie.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm kind of a movie guy.
You're not a bad movie guy, though.
No, but like, come on. I watch plenty of bad movies. I actually just got a text from our friend.
As you come off of Morbius.
The guy says as to come off of Morbius, knowing how bad it was potentially going to be, I still went to go see it.
What you
Uh,
saying? You got a
I
text?
I got a text from a friend asking if I had seen Moonfall, and I'm like, of course I've seen Moonfall. I'm glad that you watched the podcast, you son of a bitch. And we get into talking about it. I'm like, well, you got to set your expectations for that kind of film, because if you've watched any other movie that he's made, which I'm blanking on the director now, Independence Day.
Yeah, Roland Emmerich.
Roland Emmerich. You're cutting out. I can't hear you.
Roland Emmerich.
Thank you. If you've watched any of his movies, you have to set that expectation accordingly, which it's a apocalyptic movie. Lots of buildings and lots of locales are going to get destroyed. This would just so happen to, and we talked about it in a previous episode. This just so happens to involve a super advanced AI nanomachine swarm that's pushing the moon towards the Earth in an act of vengeance. What? Am I losing you?
Is this the movie you watched, or that was Moonfall?
That was Moonfall. I'm talking about Moonfall.
I've forgotten literally everything you told me about that movie, and now that you're telling me it again, I'm like, oh my god!
It's a film, and I know it's tongue in cheek because you could tell with the writing, it's very tongue in cheek. It's got not Samwise Gamgee, Samuel Tarly in it, and he's one of the main characters, and he just plays this goofy, like, oh, I want to be a scientist, but I'm not. Anyway, that was several weeks ago. I watched Moonshot, which is a rom-com that dropped on HBO Max.
If you watch this,
and it stars Cole Sprouse, not the guy who makes beer now, but the actor from Riverdale, Cole Sprouse, and oh god, To All the Boys I Loved Before, Lana Condor. And I have it pulled up. Why am I trying to remember? It's basically about two college students as they join forces in order to be reunited with their significant others, embarking on a lively journey that takes them wildly off course. It's like a
rom-com in space, right?
It's a rom-com in space. A lot of it is Cole Sprouse is trying to get on this shuttle to Mars. It's set in 2049, by the way, so it's set in the Blade Runner universe. No, it's not.
Naturally, yeah. Are there any replicants running around?
No, but there are. Do you remember the movie Moon, starring Sam Rockwell?
I know of that movie. It has been on my list for literal years. I still need to watch it.
God damn it. But you've seen Source Code?
Yes.
Same director.
Source Code is the train one. Yes,
that's the train. Yeah. That's the train one.
Same director.
So the machines in Moon. We got way off track. There are some robots in Moonshot that are kind of similar to the Gertie robot. I think his name is Gertie in Moon, played by Kevin Spacey in that movie. But anyway, this rom-com is about Cole Sprouse and Lana Condor both having to get on this space shuttle to Mars to go meet their significant others. Cole Sprouse bumps into this really pretty, smart lady who just so happens to be going to Mars the next day. And Lana Condor is trying to meet up with her boyfriend after they've been separated for several months because he's dedicated to his job up there. This could have easily have been a non-space movie, and it's like this. The template of this movie has been done 1,000 times before, but what I like about it is they use the sci-fi aspects of the setting and the environment and what they could do with science fiction, and they kind of use that to enhance the story with visuals and with narrative devices without getting too far into the story. It was very heartwarming. I think Cole Sprouse is very charismatic, and Lana Condor, from the little experience I've had of watching some of her Netflix movies, she's also very charming and very delightful. And I think it's a great date movie. What's
the better date movie? This or Passengers?
Passengers?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Chris Pratt, Jennifer Lawrence movie.
Yeah.
I actually never finished that movie. I started it, and then I realized how creepy it kind of is, and I got distracted and paused it and never finished it.
Finish is the wildest part of that movie, so you might want to go back.
I'm probably not gonna watch it. I don't care that much. for it.
Suffice it to say, yes, it is a creepy story.
Yeah.
Probably not a good date movie.
Yeah. So just watch Moonshot on HBO Max. I actually highly recommend it, being single and sad and alone. Moving on to the next movie, Apollo 10 and a half, A Space Age Childhood, the Richard Linklater film that dropped on Netflix. In a very similar style, I'll go ahead and show it on the IMDb. Similar like visual style to A Scanner Darkly, when it with like a hand drawn over people's. It's like a motion tracked kind of animation. Starring Zachary Levi, Jack Black doing the narration for the adult version of the main character. But it follows the coming of age story of a young boy in Houston, Texas in the summer of 1969, and centering around the historic Apollo 11 moon landing. There's some fantastical elements to it, obviously, which leads to why the style was chosen for the film. What I thought it was going to be like very narrative driven and based on how the boy trains for this like mission before Apollo 11, where he's like the test pilot for a module that's just too small for a normal sized man, so they select a boy from a local elementary school to pilot it. It's subtly hinted at later, closer towards the end of the film, that it may or may not have been in the main character's mind the whole time that he did that. But it's kind of left up for your interpretation on whether he did or didn't. But the whole film is based on, the late 1960s Americana nostalgia of, what it was like to be a kid during that age or during that time, and what his particular family had to do when it came to just living during that time, cutting costs and like learning to make up games with the neighborhood kids. And it's very like it's very kind of wholesome, just like this is going to bring back memories of your childhood, playing in the streets, playing kickball or making up games, and recalling classic TV shows and movies, like literally showing footage of older films and board games and just products of that time. It's kind of just a throwback to that time period and kind of a look back into the late 1960s. Us not living that far from Houston, Zach, it is kind of just like, wow, I remember a lot of this stuff happening. Kind of, I mean, we not in the 60s, obviously, but
yeah, that would be wild if you remember that happening.
How
old are you again?
I am 57.
You look pretty good, all things considered.
Oh man, if I look this good at 57, then I'm doing something right, and everyone should subscribe and follow us to learn more.
All the movie theater popcorn.
Yeah. Butter coats the insides of my organs.
Exactly. So, so they don't. It's like you're being just constantly embalmed.
That's a Moon Knight thing. But I like it. It was kind of just I felt like I was reading a picture book of a specific time period, and I don't know. For a lot of people, it would be too slow, but if you have watched previous Richard Linklater films, Boyhood, I'm trying to think, Dazed and Confused, A Scanner Darkly. Come on, I'm trying to pull back his other movies. Director, not producer. Son of a bitch, you fucking asshole. God damn it. I'll kill you.
Tell him.
The School of Rock.
Oh, dude. Yeah, okay. I'm on board.
Really? It was because of School of Rock?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds very good beforehand.
Before
I
the Before
like
Midnight series and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Fast Food Nation. Oh, he's done a lot of films. He's done like a lot of films. But he's got a very specific style when it comes to the way that he tells stories. And it's very like you're just along for the ride. You're kind of like you're a fly on the wall, basically. And I highly recommend it. Put it on, see what you like about it, and I can say this about every movie. Put it on, see what you like about it. Give it a shot. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
You should start a new series called The Non-Committal Reviewer. She's like, yeah, I guess you might like it, you might not. All right, put it on.
Who gives a shit? You know,
Put it on, don't put it on. I don't know. Who
okay,
cares?
5 out of 10 stars. That's about mid, right? I hate the word mid. I hate that we've made that a colloquial term for something that's like just okay. Can we push back on that?
It's supposed to be middling.
But people use it like they're tossing it around, like back when epic was being used to describe something really good. You know,
Nick, I hate to tell you, congratulations, you're an old man.
I don't
You
want to be an old
darn
man.
kids!
You fucking kids! I just don't
Stop
like
with the and your YOLOs. And
it would be one thing if they were like switching the meaning of a word, but they're using the word incorrectly.
if they say something's mid,
Yeah, if they're saying something is mid, they're literally
no, they're
slapping
literally
it on
saying it's
anything.
middling.
No, but they're not. I guarantee you, the people that are using the word mid as profusely as they do, they don't know that they're using it as a replacement for the word middling. In which case, just
But
say
it means
middling.
the same thing.
It's literally one extra syllable.
They're not saying like, "Oh man, that movie was so mid. That was amazing."
That was a middling movie. No, the people who are
they
saying
say
that's so
mid, they
mid,
mean it.
the people that are saying that are so mid are people who are like part of a fandom that are saying, you know, like Zack Snyder fans saying, "Oh, the Batman was so mid." Like they're not saying it's middling.
Middling.
No, I understand that was the original purpose of shortening that word, but that's not what the people who are saying that's
What do
so
they
mid.
mean by it then?
Fucking anything. They mean it. They literally mean it for everything. Anything that they disagree with or think is just like subpar, we'll say it's
You mean mid?
Yeah, we'll say it's mid.
Mid people are mid.
Fucking done.
Oh look, there's a cloud. Do you want to shake your fist at that?
God
that
damn
cloud
you!
that's going
I
by?
fucking hate you. Fucking hate you. Zach, do you have anything else to add?
Uh, hey, WrestleMania.
Yeah. So what was the controversy with that? You were talking about that for a bit on Twitter. What happened? That was big. That was not mid. What on mid?
Well, the Bianca Belair Becky Lynch match was fantastic. I'll say that. Then Cody Rhodes, who you may know was an AEW guy. Well, he was originally a WWE guy. Went on to partner with a bunch of people who started AEW.
AEW, yeah.
Now he's back in WWE, which is kind of like a huge, like, oh gosh. It was also the worst kept secret ever because we've been having like rolling news stories about how he's coming back to WWE for like a month. But it's still pretty wild to see him back. Ronda Rousey had a match. Fuck her. She's a shit person. I do not like her. I will say that on my mic.
So all I got out of that is that a full-grown man uses the name Cody.
Yeah. And then Steve Austin had his first match in like 19 years.
Oh, really?
And actually took a bunch of bumps, like a suplex onto concrete.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
He's
For
an old
those
man.
who don't know, he's a 57-year-old man.
There's no way he's 57.
He's 57.
He's not 79 years old?
No, he's not 79. 57. He also has a shattered neck, a broken back.
Because of this?
Two terrible knees. No.
Oh, okay.
It's just like he had retired.
He got fucked
up. No, he retired so long ago because of like his body was in disrepair. Essentially, it was like self-destructing. So he was doing his podcasts and whatnot, but
right.
This match was quote unquote appearance was said to happen for a while, and we were kind of all like, yeah, it's going to be like one stunner and, that's it. Send the crowd home happy, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then it turns into like a legit no holds bar match. And I'm like, fucking, this guy should not be doing this. Who's letting him doing that?
I just can't believe that he's only that old. Like, I thought he was already like in his mid 40s when I stopped watching him, late 2000s.
No, he's just been through a lot.
Fair enough. Most of them have. Yeah, good for them. And, I think if you're an adult man and your name is Cody, and I'm talking to you, supervisor at my job.
Tell him.
Use your middle name. Use any other name besides Cody. Cody is a boy's name, like Stevie or Doug. No, that's fine. Doug's fine.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying it's a boy's name, not a man's
It's
name.
not. It's just it. I don't think of when you say the name Cody. I don't think adult man. And I don't care if my supervisor sees this. I honestly don't. If I lose my job over this, fine.
You would have to explain that, I think.
Whatever, he'll get the context. But this has been Lights Camera Nonsense, keeping you updated despite our best efforts. Make sure to tune in every week on twitch.tv/GoodGooseInc for all the latest news, reviews, and what else, Zach? Thanks so much for watching. This was aggravating. I have sweat through my brand new shirt because I am so anxious to get off of this. I don't want to talk about Morbius ever again. All right?
Okay, that's fine. I'm never gonna watch it, so
All right. See you next time.
bye.